In 2009, British Army sniper Craig Harrison confirmed a kill at 2,475 meters, over 1.5 miles, using an accuracy international rifle chambered in .338 Lapua. That record still stands today. We're breaking down 10 of the best .338 Lapua rifles you can buy right now, from a chassis gun that costs less than $1,500 to the exact platform the Department of Defense picked as America's new standard sniper system. Let's get into it. Savage 110 Precision. The Savage 110 Precision proves you don't need 5 figures to shoot .338 Lapua at a serious level. This rifle runs a 24-inch barrel bolted to an MDT LSS XL aluminum chassis, feeds from a 5-round AICS magazine, and weighs 11 pounds even. At that barrel length, you're still pushing a 250-grain bullet past 2,800 feet per second for well over 4,500 foot-pounds at the muzzle. The blueprinted action and factory ACA trigger mean you're not paying a premium tax for a name, just for what the rifle actually does downrange. You're looking at $1,467, full stop, no asterisk. The honest trade-off is barrel life and a chassis finish that shows wear faster than the more expensive guns further up this list. I'll say it plainly. There is no logical reason to spend twice this much on a rifle that won't shoot noticeably flatter groups at 1,000 yards. What comes next keeps the price sane but trades bolt action for something that reloads a whole lot faster. Ruger Precision Rifle. The Ruger Precision Rifle in .338 Lapua takes everything that made the smaller caliber versions a phenomenon and scales it up without losing the ergonomics that built Ruger's reputation in this category. A 26-inch heavy contour barrel feeds a Magnum muzzle brake that tames recoil most shooters brace for and never actually feel, and the inline recoil path sends force straight back into the folding stock instead of fighting a traditional bedding system. Muzzle velocity sits right around 2,950 feet per second with a 250-grain bullet, translating to roughly 4,800 foot-pounds of energy, enough to keep a bullet supersonic and stable well past 1,000 yards, where a lot of cartridges are already tumbling. $2,100 gets you a rifle that most PRS shooters would have called impossible money 3 years ago. The next rifle on this list cuts the bolt handle entirely and replaces it with a straight pull system built for split-second follow-up shots. Savage Impulse Elite Precision. The Savage Impulse Elite Precision throws out the traditional bolt action rotation entirely and runs on a straight pull system instead. Pull back, push forward, you're on target again, no wrist rotation breaking your cheek weld. Housed in an MDT adjustable core competition aluminum chassis with a 30-inch heavy contour barrel, this rifle is squeezing out closer to 3,100 feet per second with a 250-grain bullet, putting muzzle energy above 5,100 foot-pounds, the highest on this list so far. It feeds from a 5-round AICS magazine and weighs 14.5 pounds with a chassis. At $2,412, this is the rifle for a shooter who's tired of breaking position between shots on a moving target or in a competition stage. The honest edge is unfamiliarity. Most American shooters have never run a straight pull action and it takes real trigger time to trust it. What comes next drops nearly 6 pounds by switching to carbon fiber. Christensen Arms MPR. The Christensen Arms modern precision rifle proves carbon fiber isn't just a weight-saving gimmick when you're hauling a .338 Lapua up a mountain instead of setting up on a bench. A 27-inch stainless barrel wrapped in aero-grade carbon fiber gets you to nearly 3,000 feet per second with a 250-grain bullet, right around 5,000 foot-pounds of energy, while the whole rifle weighs about 9 pounds unloaded. The billet aluminum chassis folds flat with a Magnalock hinge, the bolt knob is oversized and fluted for cold weather gloves, and it feeds from a 5-round AICS magazine. At $2,201, this is a rifle for a hunter who needs true long-range capability but refuses to carry a sniper rifle's dead weight into the backcountry to get it. The honest edge, that lightness comes with sharper felt recoil than the heavier guns on this list, since there's simply less mass to absorb it. Everything from here forward was built with a uniform in mind first, and it shows in every spec. Steyr SSG08. Austria's EKO Cobra anti-terrorism unit had input on the Steyr SSG08, and it shows in every locking lug of this rifle's safe bolt system. The action is engineered to survive firing a full-power round with an obstructed barrel and remain capable of shooting again afterward. A torture test most manufacturers wouldn't dare publish, let alone pass. In .338 Lapua, you're running a 27.2-inch cold hammer forged barrel at just over 13 pounds, feeding a 6-round detachable box magazine, with muzzle energy right around 5,000 foot-pounds. At $3,659, you're buying a rifle designed for people whose job depends on it firing every single time, and it's exactly the kind of rifle we built Guns and Geeks around covering. How many of you have actually run a rifle that's been stress-tested to survive its own catastrophic failure? The rifle stepping up next trades that traditional silhouette for something that looks like it belongs in a completely different category. Tech SRS A2. The Desert Tech SRS A2 looks nothing like a traditional .338 Lapua rifle, and that's the entire point of the design. This bullpup configuration tucks the action behind the trigger, which means a full 26-inch barrel fits inside a rifle that's nearly a foot shorter overall than the bolt guns around it on this list. Right at 37 inches, muzzle energy still lands around 4,800 foot-pounds from that 250-grain load, and the whole package weighs about 12 pounds 4 ounces with a 5-round magazine. At $4,759, it isn't cheap, and the bullpup trigger pull will feel foreign to anyone who's only ever shot traditional actions. There's a linkage between your finger and the sear that some shooters never fully warm up to. Someone in the comments is already typing that bullpups can't compete with a real bolt gun, and that person has never had to fit a rifle into a tight vehicle compartment or a cramped hide sight. Next up trades compact dimensions for something built entirely around NATO sniper contracts. Cadex CDX-33 Patriot. Cadex Defense builds the CDX-33 Patriot Light in Canada with a reputation earned on programs most manufacturers never get anywhere near. The action is CNC machined from 416 stainless steel. The bolt runs 3 fluted lugs on a 60-degree throw, and the 27-inch bartline barrel is fluted and single-point cut for accuracy that doesn't fade as the barrel heats up over a long string of fire. That length gets you close to 3,000 feet per second and right around 5,000 foot-pounds with a 250-grain bullet. At 14 pounds 8 ounces with a 5-round magazine, this is a rifle built to be carried into places most civilian shooters never go and to keep functioning when it gets there. $6,688 puts it well above the entries below it on this list. And the honest trade-off is a folding stock mechanism that adds mechanical complexity a fixed stock rifle simply doesn't have to worry about. What's coming next has been adopted by militaries on nearly every continent for a reason. Sako TRG-42A1. Finland's Sako has been refining the TRG platform since before the current sniper rifle boom even started, and the TRG-42A1 is the result of 3 decades of that refinement finally converging into one rifle. A 27-inch cold hammer-forged barrel pushes a 250-grain bullet to roughly 3,000 feet per second for right around 5,000 foot-pounds. The rifle weighs 13 pounds 4 ounces and feeds from a detachable magazine that Sako engineers tuck tactile identification bumps onto, so an operator can confirm caliber setup by feel alone in the dark, without ever breaking eye contact with a target. At $7,499, you're paying for a rifle multiple NATO militaries currently trust for exactly this job, not a rifle that used to be relevant. 5 rounds sounds limiting until you remember every single one of them is a first-round hit at distances where most rifles are just guessing and hoping. The rifle right behind it in this countdown is the one this entire platform gets measured against by everyone in this industry. Accuracy International AXMC. Accuracy International built its reputation on the Arctic Warfoe series, and the AXMC is the modular evolution of everything that made those rifles legendary in the first place. The quick LOC barrel system lets an operator swap the 27-inch barrel in under a minute using nothing but the 4mm hex wrench stored in the cheek piece. At 15 pounds with a 10-round AICS pattern magazine, this rifle is putting out roughly 5,000 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle, more than enough to defeat level 3 body armor at distances most rifles can't even resolve a target clearly. I'll say it plainly. At $7,500, there's no justification for buying a rifle that can't match this level of modularity and still calling it a top-tier long-range system. Disagree below? I'll be reading every comment. The honest edge is weight. This is not a rifle you carry casually across a ridge line. What sits at number 1 doesn't belong in the same conversation as anything else we've covered, and the Department of Defense agrees with that assessment. Barrett MRAD. The Barrett MRAD is the reason multiple branches of the US military stopped shopping for a new sniper rifle after they tested it. This exact platform, the same receiver, the same modular barrel system, was selected by the Department of Defense as its advanced sniper rifle in 2019, replacing systems that had served for over a decade. The defining feature is a barrel that swaps calibers in a couple of minutes using just a Torx wrench, no gunsmith, no rebuild, just a different barrel and bolt head dropped into the same chassis. In .338 Lapua, the civilian version we're covering here, you're running a 26-inch barrel on a rifle that's 4 to 7 inches overall, 40 inches when the stock folds, weighing 14 pounds 8 ounces and feeding from a 10-round magazine. At $6,047, this rifle costs less than some of the entries lower on this list while outperforming nearly all of them on sheer adaptability. Everything you think you know about modular rifles being a compromise compared to dedicated single-caliber guns is probably wrong once you've run one of these through an actual caliber swap yourself. The honest weakness. At this weight and length, it's not built for fast maneuvering in tight spaces, and that's a real limitation depending on your use case. That's 10 of the best .338 Lapua rifles on the market right now, Real specs with zero fluff, from an under $1,500 chassis gun all the way up to the exact platform the Department of Defense chose as its new standard. Hit that subscribe button on Guns and Geeks. Every week, real specs, real gear, zero fluff. And if you want more of these breakdowns, click the video on your screen right now to watch more of our best rifle countdowns.